All right, gang, I got a great collection of autumn fragrances on the cheap if you're on a budget and you're looking for an awesome fragrance to find to wear this autumn season and maybe wear it into winter as well. Really great prices here, all under 100, most under 50, some a little over 50, but definitely under 100. And these are tried and tested by me. I enjoy them and really enjoy wearing them, and I want to highlight them for you guys. If you guys are tired of all of the suggested retail prices of over $250 for even designer fragrances. Come on, Chanel. It's $300 almost with tax for the latest Blue de Chanel. So as I said, these are all under $100. Most are around $50. There's less and a little more as well. Let's get started with the list. But before I do want to let you know I shoot my videos weeks in advance. So if something is like currently available, as I've checked all of these, they are all online and selling. And by the time the video airs, it's not selling anymore. I apologize, but I can't control how much stock some of the online retailers, the discounters, have available. And the majority of the fragrances are male targeted for men, for the guys, but there's a lot of unisex offerings here as well. I should say more are male targeted, less unisex. But we're starting off with one of my favorite offerings from last year. This is from the house of Swiss Arabian. It's Shaghaf Oud. No, this is not Shaghaf Oud. This is Shaghaf Vanilla Toffee. And I recently saw this for around $40 for 75 ml. And it's totally worth it. It is definitely a gourmand with nutty notes, syrupy notes, sugary, sweet vanillic notes. There's also coffee here, Tonka, woods, musk, benzoin, cardamom, date milk. Lovely, lovely gourmand fragrance that smells like a Middle Eastern dessert. So delicious. It's a gourmand, and it's also not with oud like the rest of the collection is, which I have another one coming right up after this. But this is my favorite in the collection, followed by the next one. This is Shaghaf Vanilla Toffee. Let me know if you're into gourmand fragrances like that. But the next one's also from the Shaghaf series from Swiss Arabian. It's Shaghaf Oud Azraq. This one is a more honey take on, I guess I would say oud. There's a lot of oud here, but there's a lot of honey, so it's syrupy, sticky. Plus there's warm spices like cinnamon, along with amber, vanilla, leather, and patchouli. It's really super potent and intense, and also very long lasting. To me, this might remind you a little bit of Montal's Oud Honey, or maybe a bit of Floris's Honey Oud. So I personally think it's like a combo of the two, because to me, both of those smell different. This to me seems a bit more honeyed. The oud is there, it's there, but you get a lot more honey than I do with Oud Honey from Montal. But it's super sweet, very spicy, warm spicy, and also oudy. This is Swiss Arabian's Shaghaf Oud Azraq. Both of these are $40 currently at the discounters, so it's a great, great deal. Next, going to the house of Angel Schlesser. This is Deep Leather. So the patchouli that I really love from this collection is sold out, sadly, but this is also pretty decent. It's created by Hamid Muradi Kashani, a well-known perfumer over at Firmenich, and it's basically leather with bergamot and vanilla. So it's got some freshness up top, a bit sweetness, and also, of course, leather. You might be reminded a little bit of Tuscan leather and fragrances like that. So it's got a familiar smell, but it is also really nicely performing. It's not super beast mode or anything like that, but since it's leather, it's got great lingering power. If you like the idea of wearing leather with some sweetness and some freshness, then this will definitely satisfy. So this is Angel Schlesser's Deep Leather. Next, did I say how much that was? That was 100 ml for $53. I keep forgetting to tell you guys the prices. Sorry about that. But the next fragrance is 100 ml for $55, and I only see a tester online. So this one, definitely get it before it runs out. This is from the house of Lalique. This is Ombre Noir. This to me, it's interesting. It's created by Karine de Breuil-Sereni, who created Un Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible from Mauboussin. And it reminds me of something ambery, warm, and resinous with the DNA of Un Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible. So it's got some green notes in there as well. Currently, a tester is $55 for 100 ml. It's got tobacco, cognac, cinnamon, myrrh, papyrus, olibanum, cedar, mint, tonka. There's fig here. There's bergamot. So it's got freshness, but it's also got the booziness and the tobacco-ish touches. And you'll be reminded of Un Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible. And that fragrance from Mauboussin has been sold out quite a bit. But this is also pretty good quality. I think Karine de Breuil-Sereni does some great fragrances for houses that have fragrances that end up at the discounters that actually really smell great. And she did a great job with this one, although I feel like she did a cut and paste deal and created Un Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible, or she created this first went to that. Whatever she did a great job, but you'll be reminded of the other fragrance for sure. This is Ombre Noir from Lalique. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Again, a tester currently is $55 for 100 ml. And finally, this is at the discounters, 100 ml for $40. This is Encre Indigo. Finally, it's at the discounters. Yes, Encre Noir has been at the discounters forever, and the Ombre Indigo also, but now we've got Encre Indigo, and I'm sorry, it's not Ombre Indigo, this is Ombre Noir. There's too many names to keep track of. This is Encre Indigo, kind of like a new take on Encre Noir. It's 100 ml for $40 currently. It was selling for about $150 for 100 ml, but it's a vetiver balm once again, but this time they fuse it with black tea. So it's got that really nice sort of green leaning coziness of tea fragrances, but along the way you also have juniper, pink pepper, saffron, patchouli. There's also bergamot for some freshness. So in the end, it's smoky. The tea provides the smokiness along with the vetiver, because vetiver can get smoky as well, but there's also lots of spices and aromatics here. Slight bit of leathery touch with the saffron, and then of course it gets earthy and ambery when it's drying down. I think it's a really great one for the guys. I'm so happy it's finally selling at a discount. 100 ml, $40 is a great price for that, so check for that. The next fragrance, I've spoken about these two, and it seems like when I did my video for Zilli's Cachemire Noir, I picked it up for about 60 bucks. Currently, the price has gone up to 71. So for some reason, I think there was a lot of demand for this after I did my video. It's a really, really great fragrance. In fact, one of my favorites here, and I made sure to make this list to be really top-notch offerings at the discounter, so you smell expensive when you're wearing these, even though you're paying $100 less for the fragrances. What I like about this is really, really unique in the way it smells. I don't have a lot of designer fragrances like this anywhere else. It's benzoin, cinnamon, orris, myrrh, vanilla, ylang ylang. So mostly it's kind of ambery resinous with warm spices, powdery touches, some yellow floral tropical touches, but that's very, very slight. And then of course you've got some light smokiness in there as well. Really, really one of the best cheapies I have found. I love it as much as one of my all-time favorite cheapies, which is Bentley Intense for Men. But this is, it's not the same. It's a bit more unique. So I'm hoping that some of the discounters get more of these, so the price goes down again. But still a great price, 100 ml for $71. The regular price for this fragrance is around $150. So it's almost 50% off currently. So this is Cachemire Noir from Zilli. It's it's Delphine Lebeau, the perfumer, with this one. Then I'm also featuring Cuir Imperial, is also from Zilli, but the price didn't go down on this one. I guess there was not much of a demand on this one as it was with the Cachemire Noir. This is also good. You'll be reminded of Layton from Parfums de Marly, but this does settle down to a bit of leather in the dry down. I think the leather is not super strong. It's still pretty much the DNA of Layton, but it does have a, leathery dry down. But it's spicy, it's woody, it's ambery and leathery for sure. There's some vanillic touches that kind of come up with this one as well to provide a sweetness. So both of these are really great. I think the whole entire collection from Zilli is great. Go watch my video on these discounted fragrances. This Cuir Imperial currently is 100 ml for $60. Then I'm going to the house of Nikos Parfums. This is Sculpture Voyage en Orient. And what I like about this fragrance is, I need to be honest, it's actually wrongly targeted for the sex. I think the advertising uses a woman, so they have indicated this at the databases as a feminine targeted release. But I kid you not, it's not a feminine fragrance. It's actually unisex to me. To me, it's a great alternative for the fragrance Tobacco Vanille. But this one goes milky lactonic and also extra peppery. So you've got all those warm spices. You've got the ambery touches, vanillic touches, the warm holiday spices like cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and things like that. But this one has the addition of a lot of black pepper. So there's a peppery spice to it. And on top of the black peppery spices, it comes off creamy. So it's almost like you're taking like a custard and sprinkling it all with like these warm spices, and you're going to dip into it and eat it because there's a creamy consistency here. There's also some fresh zing in here as well from ginger. It's a really, really great fragrance. It's not feminine whatsoever. Try it out. I think you're going to like it, especially if you like Tobacco Vanille and you think it's too expensive, because this is 100 ml for 36 bucks. Totally worth it right now. Let me know if you've tried it. I have recommended it before. Now, and then I have another one from the house of Nikos Parfums, and this one is unisex targeted. And I feel like this one can be a bit more feminine than the Voyage on Orient. This is called Reverie, and this is 100 ml 50, whereas this is 100 ml for 36. So this one's also a little bit more expensive, but I still think it's pretty good. It's rose, saffron, cherries, there's red peppers, bourbon vanilla, patchouli, cacao, musk, orange, amber, broom, black and red pepper, orange blossom. To me, it's mostly about the saffron providing leathery touches with a lot of rose. Saffron and rose really go wonderfully together. It's a match made in heaven, almost like rose and oud, which typically you'll find with rose and saffron with oud. So that combo is great, but you have the fruitiness of the cherries here, and it's not like a lost cherry. There's a fruitiness against the rose and the saffron, and then a lot of chili pepper, but there's warmth under there. There's the chocolatey touches, the vanillic touches, and the patchouli for that earthiness. It might somehow act a little bit like a cheaper style, but in the end, it's a really gorgeous fragrance with rose, saffron, and the cherries and the peppers, the red peppers. I really love it. These are really, really great fragrances from the house. Nico's Sculpture, Reverie, and Voyage on Orient. Great flankers to the original Nico's Parfum Sculpture. They smell nothing alike though. Just to let you know, the original, I think it's sold out, the Parfum Sculpture Parfum. But those are at the discounters currently. You can get them before they run out because those prices are really, really great. And the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Calvin Klein's CK1 Essence. For a very ice-cold experience, this might be a bit more of your warmer autumn day wear fragrances, although you can wear it any time of the year. There's no rules. It's 100 ml for $43, so it's a really great price for a 100 ml fragrance. It's green tea, musk, bergamot, blood orange, sandalwood, and so it acts very cold and ice cold and metallic. So the color of the bottle is how you're going to experience the fragrance. Very aromatic, it's very musky, it's very citrusy, and of course you've got that kind of metallic, crisp, ice coldness. So if it's a warm autumn day, wear it, or if you just want something invigorating and clean, wear it. But you know, it does have some synthetic qualities about it because I feel like it acts a bit screechy, so its sharpness is definitely noticeable when you're wearing it. But still, I think it's a great flanker to the original. The original has gotten very watered down. It's a lot softer. This one's, like I said, it's metallic and sharp, so it's not soft at all. So this is CK1 Essence, 100 ml for $43. And I got to throw this one in there as well. It's Ralph Lauren's Polo Oud, still at the discounters, 125 ml for $66. Totally worth it. No real oud in this whatsoever, but to me, it's got that kind of musty Western oud smell, very woody and spicy, and maybe also a bit earthy because of there's a cypriol-like smell in this, like papyrus, but this has incense, rose, cinnamon, orange flower, pink pepper, clary sage, gaiac, patchouli, and vetiver. You know what? It's a really, really great fragrance. There's a lot of warm spices here, and that's what I like about it. It warms up and makes the funkiness of the Western oud a bit more enjoyable, more embraceable, rather than some people might be turned off by anything that smells like oud, even the Western stuff. And here I think all of these notes against the oud accord that they're using is really, really wonderful. And I really love this because of the warmth of the rose, the warmth of the cinnamon and the floral touches of the rose against the oudiness. Wonderful offering, 125 ml for $66. That's a really, really great price for this because it's not 100 ml. You get 25 more mLs of juice for almost the same price as some of the other fragrances I'm speaking about. Either way, check that out if you haven't. If you're looking for a nice, inexpensive Western oud with warm spices and rose, definitely it's a great deal for that one. We're going to the House of Banana Republic next. It's tobacco and Tonka bean. I've discussed this fragrance in a few videos, and I think some of them have not aired yet, but recently I placed this in the plum fragrances video because it has Mirabelle plum in it. Are you guys familiar with Mirabelle plum? It's not the purple kind of plum, I think it's yellow, but this is about tonka beans and vetiver, and I like that contrast. I'm sorry, not vetiver, tobacco. Tonka beans and tobacco here, and it's got some sweetness from vanilla, but it definitely has a noticeable Mirabelle plum smell in here as well, and it's really, really great with the tobacco coming in to contrast against all of the notes in here. But when you put your nose to it, you will get something very coconutty in here as well. There is something creamy coconutty, which adds this extra layer of smoothness, which is also kind of smooth and cozy also when you wear it. And I like cozy fragrances in the autumn months. So this is Banana Republic's Tobacco and Tonka Bean. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. All right, we've got a couple of old school style fragrances in here as well. One of them launched about 4 years ago. This is Guy Laroche's Drakkar Intense. Yes, I'm not featuring the Drakkar Blue. I'm featuring the Drakkar Intense. To me, it's a boosted up, amplified take on Drakkar Noir. And a lot of people complain this is not a flanker of Drakkar Noir. Yes, I understand it's not a flanker of Drakkar Noir, but we're not familiar with Drakkar, the OG. We're familiar with Drakkar Noir. To me, it has a similar DNA because Drakkar is basically the fragrance that started it. Then it became Drakkar Noir. And then, of course, this is coming after Drakkar Noir when a bunch of other fragrances came after Drakkar Noir. But, you know, it reminds me of Drakkar Noir. It's a more intense take on it. It's really, really great take on an old school style aromatic fougere fragrance. And it's 100 ml for 17 bucks. Totally worth the price tag here. It's lavender, clary sage. There's bergamot, suede, vanilla, coriander, rosemary, wormwood, moss, and patchouli. It smells really, really wonderful. You'll definitely be reminded of Drakkar Noir, but it's its own thing. You know, it's definitely not as thin as Drakkar Noir. So this is Drakkar Intense from Guy Laroche, 100 ml for 17. And one other old school style fragrance, which actually it's the OG, even after all its reformulations, it still smells great today and actually garners me compliments. 120 ml for $21. It's such a great fragrance for Paul Sebastian's PS Fine Cologne. To me, it's like several different styles of fragrances combined. It's very musky and powdery, but behind it all, there's ambery touches. And most importantly, it acts like a fougere as well because there's lavender and things like that. 120 ml for 21 bucks, totally worth it. What I also like about it is it has warm spices, like warm, spicy fragrance for the holidays, fougere fragrance for, you know, any time of the year, the muskiness and the powderiness for enjoying that kind of a style. So there's a lot going on here, but it's a fantastic. I'm glad to have rediscovered this, and I've gone through quite a bit of it. As you can see, I love the way it smells. I wore it back in the early 90s, but it was launched in the late 70s. And a 120 ml bottle for 21 bucks is totally worth it. And I know a lot of folks who really, really love this fragrance. In fact, my attorney's husband used to wear this fragrance, who's no longer with us. But I didn't know. I found out recently as we were chatting. This is a favorite fragrance of them. So this is Paul Sebastian's PS Fine Cologne. If you don't know that one, please check it out. And then I also have another Middle Eastern brand here called Ajmal. It's Song of Oud. And even though it's called Song of Oud, this one doesn't have much in the way of oud, but it is a really great fragrance. It's actually very enjoyable. It's 75 ml for 41 bucks. It has bergamot, apples, jasmine, amber, patchouli, ginger, musk, lily of the valley, and orris. So in the end, it acts very fresh, eventually settling to some ambery, earthy, woody touches and musky touches. We've got green flowers, apples, juicy, crisp, fruity, of course, and of course the freshness of the bergamot together with the jasmine note, and then of course ginger is here as well. So it's got this very zingy freshness. So in the end, it doesn't have oud at all. It's called Song of Oud. Maybe you're singing to have oud come up, but it never shows up here. But in the end, without the oud, it's a really, really great take on a very fresh, citrusy, spicy, ambery, floral fragrance. I think it's a great one. This is unisex offering, 75 ml for $41. Totally worth it, I think. Let me know if you've discovered that one. Up next, we're going to the house of Latafa, another Middle Eastern house. This is Teriyaki Intense. You guys familiar with this one? I ended up putting the Intense version here because it is a more masculine take. The OG is definitely on the reverse side. It's feminine, this one masculine. You can layer the two together to make it a bit more unisex, but I'm going with this one. And I've started enjoying this one more and more, even though I enjoy the OG a little bit more. There's something sharp in this one that kind of puts me off a little bit, but I've started to enjoy it now. I don't mind it at all. 100 ml for 43 bucks. It's amber, saffron, plum liqueur, cinnamon, benzoin, tonka, and bergamot. So it's quite warm, spicy, and very ambery, but there's some freshness up top, a little leathery touch. And what I really like about this one is that plum liqueur. In fact, I featured this in the plum video as well. I love the booziness, but it's not super boozy. And there's also a slight smokiness in here as well, most likely from the resins that are in here. But in the end, it's a really nice, long-lasting fragrance that's unisex targeted, but I feel like leans masculine in comparison to the original Teriyaki. So this is Teriyaki Intense from the house of Latafa. Let me know if you're familiar with that. This next one's from the house of Sarah Jessica Parker. This is Stash SJP. For one of the most masculine female celebrity fragrances that leans very masculine, I should say. This is 100 ml for $30, 30 bucks. But it was gone for a long time. It's now back, and it's totally worth having in your collection if you like woody fragrances that kind of lean spicy and creamy, because the Masoya wood in here is super, super creamy. Acts like a very creamy sandalwood, but it's Masoya wood. Behind it all, there's some, nuttiness from the pistachio, but it's not super intense, the pistachio. It just adds that slight layer of, nuttiness. But there's aromatics here, so it's herbal. There's a lot of woods, in addition, grassy woods and spices too. Eventually, there's a little bit of smokiness that runs throughout it too, and I think it's a really great job done by Sarah Jessica Parker's team who created this fragrance. Totally leans masculine because of all the woods, spices, and smoky notes and things like that. And again, the pistachio note is there, but it's not super nutty. It just enhances the fragrance a little bit. But that's Stash SJP from the house of Sarah Jessica Parker. And I've got two Mercedes-Benz fragrances. I've got the black and I've got the extreme. But before I talk about that, I did mention the price on the Stash, right? It's 100 ml 30. So the OG Club Black is 100 ml 51. The Club Extreme is 100 ml 38. And they're totally different fragrances. The Club Black is targeted to men. Both of them are targeted to men, I should say. But the Club Black, I think, is very unisex. It's all vanilla, incense, and bergamot. So it's kind of a smoky, woody, resinous take on this super gooey kind of vanilla. So it's not super syrupy when you're wearing it, but the vanilla is, some of the notes in here are a bit more woody, woody, dry, and resinous as well. So it's a great vanilla, sweet, and I love it. It's very unisex. But then we've got the extreme, which is actually more leathery and spicy and earthy woody. There's a light reminder of something like Amen from Mugler, but that's just about it, because there's leather here, bergamot, patchouli, and mandarin. There's woods and amber, musk, and sandalwood. So yeah, when you wear this one, both of the fragrances are dry. I'm not sure if that was intentional to make them like this. They're both made by Firmenich perfumers, and they made them on the dry side, but they're totally different fragrances. Both have a lot of woodiness. Even though the Club Black doesn't list woods, I get a lot of woods in there, but they list the woods in the Club Extreme. Both are great. My favorite is the black, but this one's also really great, especially when it reminds me of Mugler's Amen, because it used to be one of my favorite fragrances. So the Club Extreme is $38 for 100 ml. The Club Black is $51 for 100 ml. And then we've got two Chopard Malaki fragrances. We're starting off with Amber Malaki. Amber Malaki has become a favorite of mine in the Malaki series of fragrances. It's 80 ml for $57. It's interesting how these brands make different sizes. 80 ml bottles, which is non-traditional, 75 ml bottles, non-traditional, so it's weird. And then the Polo is 125 ml. So very interesting. The Banana Republic is also a 75 ml. So why do they make them smaller? Do they kind of become stingy and give us less perfume or something? But either way, this is an 80 ml bottle for $57. It's a great amber fragrance with vanillic touches, smoky touches, and of course there's a little bit of a reminder of oud in here, even though they don't mention it. So I think it's just giving it a bit of a Middle Eastern edge, because I think the whole collection is inspired by the Middle East. I do have a video of the whole entire Malaki fragrances collection launching very soon, but the Amber Malaki has turned out to be a favorite of mine of all of the Malakis, and it is definitely a great price for 80 ml, $57. And if you're looking for an amber that goes into a Middle Eastern direction, definitely check that one out. And of course, I am having the Oud Malaki here as well, but sadly it's actually on the expensive side. It's 80 ml for $80, whereas everything is a little less expensive. This one's the most expensive fragrance that I'm talking about here, followed by the Cachemire Noir, which is $71 for 100 ml. So it actually turns out to be less expensive because this is an 80 ml. But I think the Oud Malaki is the most popular in the Malaki series, and everybody seems to like it because it has tobacco, oud, spices. There's also leather, ambery touches, aromatic touches. So it's turned out to be a great fragrance. It's also created by Dominique Ropion, so it's definitely one of his best. It's actually a nice designer level oud that goes into the Middle Eastern direction. So if you like the idea of a Western oud that has a very Middle Eastern styling to it, both of the Malaki fragrances should satisfy. I prefer the Amber Malaki over the Oud Malaki, not for the price, because just the kind of fragrance I like, but the Oud Malaki is also definitely quality. If you're looking for something Middle Eastern leaning with a fragrance from a jewelry house of Chopard, definitely check out the two Malaki fragrances that I'm talking about here. And last but not least, we're going to end the video with For Men Intense by Bentley, and this is definitely still one of my all-time favorite cheapies for the guys. It's a warm, spicy fragrance with great longevity. It's got boozy touches, smoky touches, ambery touches, warm, spicy touches, all of those notes coming in to create this wonderful creation by Nathalie Lorson. And the dry down on this is super, super sexy. I love the dry down. And it's got good lingering power for 100 ml for $34. Definitely one of the best cheapies out there. It is. If there was a lot of stock of the Cachemire Noir, I think that would be definitely one of the, I mean, it's still a great fragrance, but the availability of that one is not as high as this. This is a Lalique fragrance, and there's a lot of stock out there, and it's always around $35, $30 to $35 for this. This has gone up in price, as I said, to $71, and I bought it for $60 originally. This has been around $35 for a long time, but definitely one of the best cheapies. If you're looking for something boozy, spicy, smoky, ambery, definitely try Bentley For Men Intense. And that's the last fragrance for you guys. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Are you ones that enjoy these fragrances? I know there's a lot of expensive fragrances out there, and every once in a while I like to do a video of budget offerings because you guys are always asking. And again, I went through to make sure I put some of the best fragrances out there. As I said, a lot of these are for the guys, and some of them are unisex targeted. No feminine targeted releases here today. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon, and also give a thumbs up for this video. See you guys later. Bye-bye.